Hi and welcome to this Premier Training revision video which will explain what is meant by the internal rate of return. This is a subject many students find confusing, and although you won't be expected to calculate the internal rate of return in your exam from scratch, you are expected to know what it means and to be able to approximate it. The internal rate of return, or IRR, is another way of analysing possible capital projects, and so it's essential that you fully understand both payback periods and discounted cash flows first before looking at the IRR. Other videos are available in this unit which cover both of these, so if you're uncertain about them, you should take time now to watch one or both of them, particularly the one on discounted cash flows. The internal rate of return is very closely linked to the net present value of a project. It recognises that any investment in a project requires a capital investment. This could be financed by a loan or from cash already in the business. Both of these carry a cost. For instance, if we have to borrow the money, we'll need to pay the lender a rate of interest on the loan, whilst if we use cash already in the business, we're missing out on earning interest by investing it elsewhere. You'll never need to calculate the cost of capital at this level, but you should understand that the higher the cost of capital, the more it costs to fund a project, and therefore the less return we're going to make on it. The IRR is simply the cost of capital at which we would make a zero return, where the discounted cash flows in the future minus the initial outlay equals zero. There are a number of ways to calculate this. We can use a trial and error approach of selecting different costs of capital and discounting the cash flows until we find the one which equals zero, but this is obviously a time-consuming approach and you wouldn't need to do this in an exam. We can see here with Project Y, which we looked at in the videos on payback and discounted cash flows, that the net present value at 10% cost of capital is positive at £4,913. This indicates that the internal rate of return must be higher than 10%. We could try again at 16%. The NPV has fallen to £2,177, but it's still positive. At 20%, it's still positive at £619, but by 22% it's become negative at -£85. So this indicates that the internal rate of return must be somewhere between 20 and 22%. Somewhere nearer 22% would be a reasonable approximation. If we plotted this graphically, we could see that the point where the line crosses the x-axis, which is where the discounted cash flows are zero, is again a little under 22%. We should accept any projects where the internal rate of return is higher than our cost of capital. In other words, if we can borrow money at 8% interest, we should invest in a project so long as it offers an internal rate of return which is higher than that. And if we're choosing between different alternative projects, we would choose the one with the higher internal rate of return. The internal rate of return can be complicated to understand, but try to remember that it's really a very similar concept to discounted cash flows and net present values. The higher the internal rate of return, the better and more attractive the project is. Hopefully this video has helped you to understand the key points a little better, and thanks for watching.